All right, welcome back, students. So we are on to Tree of Life Part 3. We're going to go over fungi. You're pretty familiar with them, whether you know it or not. You might even eat some. You see them all the time. So the kingdom of fungi. Members of this kingdom are important to many ecosystems where they recycle nutrients and work in symbiosis with plants. They use the food the plant produces. In return, the fungi act like extra roots that bring the plant water and minerals it could not get alone. The network formed is called mycorrhizae. Other fungi feed on and help to decompose once living organisms. Others are parasites on living things. All fungi use food made by other living things. Most live on land, others live in other organisms. They have a cell wall made of chitin. The first phylum that we're going to talk about in the fungi kingdom is Zygomycota. This phylum of fungi lives mostly in soil and decaying plant or animal material. It is most familiar as the mold that grows on fruits and vegetables in rapidly spreading colonies. It might be found on dung. Some members of this phylum are parasites of plants, insects, and small animals. Others form a symbiotic relationship with plants. The first example we have for Zygomycota is a bread molds. This is what they look like up close when you use a microscope. The fuzziness on the mold comes from these spore heads. They look fuzzy because there's a bunch of them all together. And this is a very close-up picture of what they would look like. Colonies of the genus Rhizopus grow rapidly and quickly over the surface of the food source. It is white at first and becomes grayish-brown in time. The second phylum we're going to talk about is Comicota. Ascomycota, or sac fungi, holds about 75% of all known species of fungi. It's a lot. You might even say 3/4. Examples include the yeast used in baking and brewing, penicillin used to treat infections, and the edible morel. Many species play a big role in recycling dead plant material. Others join with algae to form lichens, or with plant roots to form mycorrhizae. Other species form a symbiotic association with beetles that cultivate it, weeding out other species. The cup fungi found in forests are part of this phylum. Our example for Ascomycota is reindeer lichen. Here's a close-up picture of reindeer lichen. Trying to get that in focus without the glitter. Right? You might notice a lot of different types of lichens around you every day, especially around here in the low country. So reindeer lichen. Lichens grow in leftover spots of the natural world that are too harsh or limited for other organisms. They are able to shut down their life processes during periods of unfavorable conditions and can survive extremes of heat, cold, and drought. They form a symbiosis with algae, which is the food source. The fungi provide water, minerals, and protection. The last phylum that we're going to talk about in the fungi kingdom is Basidiomycota. This phylum of fungi includes the true mushrooms, as well as rusts, jelly fungi, stinkhorns, puffballs, bracket fungi, smut, and some other species of yeast. Like most members of the fungi kingdom, they have a growth form of filaments or hyphae that are like roots that find food, minerals, and water. Some members of this phylum form symbiotic relationships with the roots of trees in a forest or form mycorrhizae. In return for the food source from the tree, the fungi provide an extended root system to deliver water and minerals. These networks can spread for miles. All right. Now, our example for Basidiomycota is the fly Amanita, the classic red cap mushroom. This mushroom is a member of the order Agaricales, which includes those species of the fungi kingdom that have a stem and a cap with gills on the underside. The gills produce spores. The spore-forming body is the visible part of the mushroom. It is produced by a thread-like network of filaments that deliver water and minerals as well as nutrients from decaying matter. This particular mushroom is poisonous. Now, we've covered 4 different branches so far. We have our prokaryotes, our simple single-celled organisms. And we've got into eukaryotes, which now all of a sudden everything has a nucleus. All right, and organelles within the cell. We have our protists, our simple, mostly single-celled organisms within the eukaryotic domain. Then we have our plants, our vascular, our non-vascular, our non-seeding, our seeding, our flowered, our non-flowering, our flowering. And then we've gone into our fungi. Now remember, you can see and witness fungi all over you, not all over you, but all around you. Okay. Now, you might be eating mushrooms. You might see lichen hanging from the trees around here. You might even forget to eat your sandwich and then get mold by the weekend. Okay. Now, but I do want you to be aware, don't ever eat a mushroom without finding first what it is, like this one. It has a red cap. The red in mushrooms usually is warning of poison. Okay. So without an adult, don't touch or consume any fungi. Always consult an adult or a scientist. All right. And you don't have to touch them. You can just observe them on the walking path out in the woods. All right. Or on your bread that you left out. Okay. So fungi are a really interesting branch of the phylogenetic tree. So thank you for coming. I am excited to see your follow-up work. Make sure you read it thoroughly. I should have some fun things for you guys to do for your follow-up. Get ready to look up something about zombies.